Hello everybody and welcome to this video. I just want to talk about what you should be doing in the final week in the lead up to the literature exams, because so many people are asking me this question. Now, I'm taking it as a given that you've been revising for weeks already, that this is just what should I do in these last stages. So you need to sort of add this to the revision that you've already done. But here's what I would suggest, and this goes for GCSE and A-level as well. The first thing you need to do is to reread your set texts this week. Now, you might look at that and groan and think, oh man, I cannot do that. But the fact is, these exams, being closed book exams at GCSE, more than ever is important that you know the texts really well. So I would reread them. Now, if you look on my playlists on this channel, there's a playlist called Audiobooks. And I have the complete audiobooks for all of the 19th century texts. So you can listen to those, reread your Shakespeare play, and reread the poems and the modern text. And that will not take a huge amount of time. I think if you were to put an hour a day into the reading, you would get through all of your texts before the exams. Unless you're doing something like Great Expectations, and there's no easy answer to that. It's a 20-hour text, so you might just want to summarize each chapter to refresh your memory of the text. But rereading the text is really important, and as you're rereading, sort of taking notes on things as well. The second thing that is really important is to revise the writer's ideas and themes. I'm going to make a video on this that'll go out on Saturday, but you need to know the main themes of a text and be able to bring them to mind. And also, and this brings in the third point, I would be planning how I would write about those writers' ideas and themes, whatever the question is. So I would just write down all of the characters in the text and think, if this was the question on this character, how would I link to the writer's ideas and themes? You also want to make sure you're revising points on language, structure and form. Now, I've got videos on this in my literature playlist, but as an example, I would want to memorize Freytag's Pyramid and how each text applies to Freytag's Pyramid. So you want to know, what is the inciting incident in Romeo and Juliet? Yeah, it's Act 1, Scene 5 where they meet. What is the climax in Macbeth? It's the murder of King Duncan. What is the, etc., etc. So that when you get that extract in that first paper, you can think about where does this come from in terms of Freytag's Pyramid and how can I link that into my answer? Then the final thing you want to do is to complete sample questions. Now, I know these are new exams, so there aren't lots of sample questions out there, but you can just make them. Just, grab the text, open it to any page and think, if this was the extract, what would I write about language? What would I write about structure? What would I write about form? How could I bring in context? How could I link to the writer's ideas and themes? And have a go at writing an answer. I think in schools we're guilty of not preparing students enough for the time and conditions of an exam. And, I'm guilty of that as well. It's so difficult sometimes to say to a class, look, we're going to sit in silence for 2 hours and practice this, or an hour or whatever. So you need to do this at home. You need to give yourself a sample question, sit down for 45 minutes and see if you can answer it. And if you find you cannot answer it, you need to stop and reflect on that and think, what is it that was holding me up? What is it that was slowing me down there? Of course, on top of this, I want you to rewatch my videos, the playlists on the text that you're studying. And, I've made those with all of these things in mind, so hopefully they'll be really, really useful to you. Please do subscribe to the channel and thank you for watching.